What are 3 things you believe that you need to be happy in this world today?
One of the only things in this world you can control is your state of mind. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people. You can't even control your health. You might get a brain hemorrhage. You might get hit by a bus. One of the very few things in the world you have genuine control over is your state of mind. You decide if you're a disciplined person. You decide if you're a happy person. You decide if you're a depressed person. These are things that in real time you can affect in your brain. This is all you can control on earth. If you can't control that, then you're just a feather in the wind. And life's gonna blow you around, and you might land somewhere good, you might land in dog shit, nobody knows. Your state of mind is what you should be able to control. If you can't wake up and say, today I'm making some money, and actually try your very, very best, and actually stay dedicated to that task. If you can't do that, you're fucked.
The human mind is a massively misunderstood and underused chemical factory. That's all it is. It's the reason you feel happy. It's the reason you feel sad. It's the reason you feel excited. It's only chemicals in your brain. And I think if you try and take conscious control of your mind and force yourself to feel what you want, when you want, you can truly start to feel emotions on command. I don't think that men should ever consider how happy they are. I think that for a man, the paradigm of analyzing yourself based on your mood is an incorrect way to approach life. I don't think it makes you competitive. I just don't think it makes you competitive. I feel like as a man, life is ultra competitive and you're constantly competing against other men, whether you realize it or not. The girl you want, other men want. If you get her, it's a competition. The dollar you want, other men want. If you get it, it's a competition. The status you want, other men want. If you get it, you won the competition. Man, life as a man is hyper competitive, and you need to build a mindset that allows you to compete at the highest echelons, at the highest levels. And in my experience, the people who compete at the highest levels are not people who have any concern or care for how they feel on the day. You are a man with duties. You're a man with responsibilities. You must perform. You have things you must do, and you must do them regardless of how you feel. Whether you feel happy or you feel sad, you must still train. So considering it's not going to affect your actions, why even take it into consideration at all? Why does it matter? I don't look at myself and go, how do I be happy? I look at myself and go, how do I succeed and do everything I want to do and become competent and be successful? That's what I'm worried about, achieving my goals daily. Happiness is a byproduct. It's a side piece. But if you're going to wake up and go, I want to be happy, well, yeah, to a degree, it's feminine. It's also very childish because only women and children are so obsessed with happiness. But it doesn't make you competitive, because if you're concerned with being happy, that means you're only going to perform when you feel like it. That means you can't outcompete the men who perform every day regardless. And that's why, as a man, you need to be building a mindset that makes you as competitive as possible. And I think that considering happiness as a concept, as an idea in and of itself is a bad idea. I think it's a mistake. So it doesn't even cross my mind if I'm happy. It doesn't even cross my mind. I've got shit to do.
Every man understands you shouldn't be complaining about things you cannot change. You have to play the cards you're dealt. To be born a certain height and then to sit there and go, what do I do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You become the best version of yourself, just like everyone else does. Nothing about the height is in and of itself enough value for me to be a valuable man. As a man, you build your value. You are born with the cards you're dealt. Sure, it'd be ideal. Look, I'd love to be 7 foot tall. I'm not. So it's the same argument. If you're 5'2", you need to become rich, strong, and funny, and charismatic, and interesting, and witty. If you're 6'4", you need to become rich, strong, well-connected. It's the same game. So to sit there and complain about it is asinine.
People email me their long lists of all the bad things that happen to them, and I reply, fantastic. You are so lucky. You have all the building blocks to become the exact kind of man you want to be. If none of this shit happened to you, when something else bad happens to you later, you wouldn't be able to deal with it. Fantastic. Bad things happened to Batman. They killed his parents. Do you understand? That's why he's Batman. You've just told me you have the building blocks. You might become top G when I retire. What are you complaining about? He goes, well, what do I do? I said, you need to work. Take all that trauma. If you're truly heartbroken, my friend, and we've all been there as men, if you're truly heartbroken, you can't sleep. That means you're going to get in fantastic shape. You better hit the gym. You have nothing else to do. Stop watching YouTube. Stop emailing me. I want pictures of you in the gym. Get to fucking work. Heartbreak's a fantastic motivator, as is depression, as is sadness. Great. Look at what's pissing you off and make sure it never happens again. If you were jacked and rich as fuck, she probably wouldn't have left your ass. All of you have a handful of this.
I don't think you understand that. You could have been in a car crash at 4 years old and lost your legs. Do you have any understanding of how lucky you have been? This is pure luck. There's no this only luck has kept you fully able-bodied, sitting there, capable of learning and listening and becoming something. You don't really need to be that tall if you're important and rich. And when you walk in the room, you think when fucking Mayweather walks in the room, people give a shit? Fix that frame in your mind. You are viewing yourself as a short man. Stop it. Walk the fuck up and be the man.
I was a 4-time kickboxing world champion. For 12 years, I trained 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I was motivated to train probably about 25% of the time. The rest of the time I went because I am disciplined. You don't feel like going through that shit on a Wednesday morning when you wake up, but you have to do it because you're disciplined. You're either a disciplined individual or you are not a disciplined individual. There's a difference between want and want. And I say this all the time. People say to me, I want to be rich. And I say, okay, well, I want to be able to ice skate, but I don't want to be able to ice skate enough to go learn how to ice skate because I can't be bothered. I mean, surely if I could click my fingers and be a figure skater, I'd click my fingers. Who wouldn't? Well, I don't want to actually go train because I don't want it enough. And this is the exact point with money. Everyone wants money put on their lap. If you truly wanted money, you wouldn't be able to sleep until you fucking had it. And this is the point. Because when I had nothing, I couldn't be distracted. You couldn't distract me from what I wanted. That's who I am. If I want something, I'm going to get it. I do not need to be motivated. I'm a disciplined person. If I allocate X amount of time to work, I'm going to do it. But that is the bottom line answer. It's discipline. You're going to have to work when you don't feel like working. That's how it's going to have to be, or you're never going to be any.
The idea that men don't feel emotions is incorrect. We feel emotions. I would actually argue we feel emotions with certain emotions stronger than women. I would argue that we feel heartbreak stronger than women. I would argue we feel anger like a woman could never understand. I would argue we are extremely emotional. Rage, pure rage. It's feedback. So when you get the feedback, it's all about how you internalize that and how you process it, right? It's having stoicism's not feeling emotions. It's feeling the emotion and going, okay, why is this happening? How much does this really matter? What's the most intelligent move on the chessboard? Chess is a fantastic game because in the game of chess, there's no luck. If you lose, no matter how well you played, if you lose, at some point you made a mistake. Even if it's the most minor mistake, you made a mistake. So you learn to understand that no matter what happens to you, if you lose a scenario, you made a mistake. Maybe it's a tiny one. Maybe it was 2 years ago, whatever, but you made a mistake and you learn absolute and utter accountability for yourself. And that mentality is extremely powerful to apply to all things in life. The position I'm in now as the most hated man in the world, although I agree and I truly believe it's unfair, I still take complete responsibility for. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm telling you why it happened when I talk about TikTok and YouTube shorts, but I'm not going to blame them. Absolutely. They're a company making money and they're monetizing the best they can. Fantastic. All of this is my fault. But the Bugatti on my drive is my fault. And the yacht is my fault. Private jet's my fault. So it's all my fault. So I take the good with the bad. I take all responsibility for absolutely everything, including if a woman leaves me, if a woman stays, if I end up heartbroken, if I end up filled with rage, I take responsibility for that. If something happens to me that makes me enraged, I will take responsibility. Why has this happened to me? Why do I feel this way? How did I end up in this position? Consuming content in a whole is kind of part of it. You have to be very careful and curate the things you listen to. Like obviously this podcast has value and the people listening are doing the right thing, but there's a whole bunch of kids who are just consuming constant shit. Like we're talking about Twitch and the garbage. It's difficult out there for young people. I think it's extremely distracting world. We have the biggest companies in the world with the most advanced AI and tech in the world designed to keep you distracted and addicted to screens, watching shit that is no good for you. So it's hard. And yeah, the kids are glued to social media and glued to their screens and obsessed with all this crap. And of course they are, because it's designed to be obsessive, and they have to make sure they're taking it in a way that's good for them. Inside of my school, the real world, we actually have an entire course on regaining attention and focus, because we notice that anyone below the age 25 can't focus on anything. If you were to say, here's how you make money, go, they'd try, but after 10 minutes, because it's not flashing colors and dopamine, they can't do it. They can't read anything. They can't focus on anything. They're just addicted to TikTok screens. It's just new video, new video, new video, new video. So like people have lost their minds in real time. They've lost their ability to focus on anything. So we actually have to teach that again to the younger people. It's truly crazy. It's absolutely insane.
I've had scenarios in my life where I was prepared to die to protect somebody else, and I was enraged, and it was healthy. I've also had times where I'm in a room by myself, enraged, sitting there going, this is no good for anybody. I need to just calm the fuck down. So emotions are feedback, but stoicism is the ability to process it. And that's what you need to be learn as a man. You're never going to be able to turn them off. You're going to feel them. You have to learn how to process them and turn them into a positive. It's energy. It's unlimited energy. I say this all the time. I say that the biggest periods of transformation in my life is when everything was going wrong. When my life was going good, I'm not a hedonistic person. I don't do drugs. I don't gamble. I don't do prostitutes. I don't do anything that hedonistic. But I'll certainly go on the yacht with a bunch of women I know and chill and have some vodkas and that kind of thing. When life's smooth, then it's semi-hedonistic, pretty relaxed. But when I make my biggest progress, when I really change who I am and change the world, that's when everything's fucked. When things go wrong or I'm feeling things I don't want to feel or bad things are happening, that's when I'm like, okay, I currently cannot sleep. I've completed the day's tasks. I've tried to go to bed. I can't sleep. More shit has to be done. That's when the amazing things happen in my life. When I was heartbroken, when I was whatever, well, everyone's been heartbroken. I can't remember a specific example. I hit the gym harder, right? If something goes wrong with your payment processor, that's when you get fucking inventive. That's business, right? That's when you get inventive. So all the bad things that happen to you as a man, if you're stoic, you get to take unlimited energy. Heartbreak is unlimited energy. So is depression. So is rage. So is sadness. All these negative emotions they tell you to collapse behind. It's like people talk like, Bruce Lee says, be like water. And people see that as be fluid and just go with the flow. I disagree. If you're like water, you're necessary for life. You are scary when you're enraged. You're powerful. You're beautiful when you're calm. You're so many things when you're like water, right? So if I'm enraged, it's like water behind a dam. You just got to put the dam in place and you go get the turbo, the hydroelectrics put in. Don't tsunami your life. Put the energy somewhere.
Let's say your son comes to you. He's 14. He says, Dad, what's the best piece of advice you can give me right now?
I feel like you should just always act like you're being watched by people you really respect and love. And it doesn't matter if it's in the gym, they're watching you to see how hard you train, or in that job interview, they're watching you to see how you perform, see how confident you can be, watch you put your suit on, make sure your tie's straight. I feel like you need to have a sense of duty to people who existed before you or who have given up their lives so you exist. And you need to try very hard to make sure your last name means something important. So the best advice I can give is just keep in mind there's a whole bunch of people who love you, who are looking out for you, who really care about you, and who have done a lot for you to exist as a person. And you owe them a lot of things, and you owe them your absolute best in all realms. You owe them to try your hardest and to not disappoint them. And you don't get the luxury of just existing and sitting around playing video games and being happy, being sad, eating food, whatever. All of that's by the by. You have a big debt to pay to your family, to your ancestors, to God, and you have to try very hard. And keep that in mind and let that motivate you to be your best self.
I always knew it was a trick and a con. I didn't truly understand things to the level I understand them now. But I had an intrinsic understanding, and I think everybody does. If you're at a gas station and it's 3 a.m. and a Lambo pulls up and a guy gets out of it, you're thinking criminal, drug dealer, gangster. Yeah. You're not thinking, he has a uni degree. Because you're not going to think that. So when you see money, people don't even associate the money they see with university. But then they go, I want to make money, so I need a university. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So be a slave, be a slave, be a slave. Every single government in the world is interested in control. That's all they've ever wanted. That's all they ever want more of. Governments want control. They want to control their populace. They think of us as sheep. We're cattle to them. They want us to comply. They don't want our individuality. They don't want us to think for ourselves. They want us to just sit there and obey like robots. So every single one of them is slowly inching, day by day, pushing the limits, taking as much control as they can from the people till the people revolt. Mm-hmm. And if they do it slowly and incrementally, they get away with a lot. This is beyond money. The people in charge of the world print the money. They don't care about money. They don't care about economies. They don't care about taxes. All these things are brokey considerations. When you print the money, you think you give a shit if the economy's good or bad? You print the money. You don't care. What you care about is when you click your fingers, do people obey you? When I talk about the Matrix, I'm talking about the systems which have been created by society, which are deliberately designed to enslave. In the movie, the Matrix were used for our body heat, but here in this Matrix, we're used for our efforts and our energies. And you're existing inside of a system which is deliberately rigged to make the rich richer and for the poor to stay poor.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and get upset about it. You can sit there and cry about it and say the system needs to change, which is what some people do, socialists, XYZ. But I know that's a waste of time, right? That's futile. The best thing to do is to understand the rules of the game and find a way to win. So yes, the game is rigged. Yes, the rich are always going to get richer. Yes, the poor are always going to struggle. And that's the way the game is set up. So you still need to find the best move on the chessboard. There's no point sitting there saying, I want to play a different game, because that's never going to happen. Because the people with the money are the people who have the control and they have the power. And why would they have the game set up any other way? Why would they change? One of the largest things that hold people back from wealth is the people around them. Not only because of the mindsets of the people around them, but also trying to find people around you who you can truly actually trust is difficult. I was always close with my brother and he's always been close with me because we are a team. And you need to have a team. And if you have a team, you stand a better chance. It's player versus player out here, man. It's on the street. It's not easy. For every dollar you make, for every pound you take, you took it from someone else. You don't make money. You take money. People don't understand the way that money works. You're not the Federal Reserve. You can't create money from thin air. Every single pound in your bank is money you took from someone else. And when I say take, I don't mean it in a negative way. You might have convinced them to give it to you. You might have a coffee shop. I'll give you a nice coffee. You'll give me some money. Cool. But you still took his money, right? It's the true nature of the universe. You have to learn that you have to take things from other people. And by taking it, I'm not saying go rob a bank. I'm not saying that. I'm saying completely the opposite. You can be a philanthropist. I'm taking money from everyone inside of HU, but I'm changing their lives. It's a good thing. You can take money in a positive way. Most people don't look at life that way. And when you look at life that way, you need to start identifying. One of the things we teach inside of HU is to identify every single time your money is taken from you. So I say this to people. I say, for the next 2 weeks, every time you spend money, even if it's a pound, write down how they got it from you. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, all right, cool. You're walking down the street. You're going to Starbucks. You buy a coffee. Why did they take your money? Well, I wanted coffee. Yeah, but how? Okay, you wanted coffee, right? Cool. Did you only want a coffee because you saw Starbucks, or did you want a coffee beforehand? Why did you want their coffee and not another coffee? Did you buy a cake as well? Why did you buy a cake? All right, cool. So now you identified how they took your money. Then realize how they could have took more of your money. You bought a cake, but you didn't buy a sandwich. Why? The sandwiches weren't on display, or they looked cold, or they looked rubbish. Or the woman who was serving me was old and ugly. Maybe she was a young cutie and talked to me about bologna sandwiches or a ball. Right? So you need to start identifying how your money is taken from you. Because once you identify how your money is taken from you, you can start to actually intelligently think about how you can take money from other people. If I had to open a coffee shop, if I sit in a coffee shop, right? If I sit at Starbucks, the whole time I'm in there, not only am I thinking about how they got the money from me and how much I spend, I'm thinking about how I could outcompete them. I'd sit there and go, okay, cool. I'm in Starbucks. I spent £5.68. I got a latte and I got a donut, and I'm sitting here. And that business place, that commercial property right across the street is available for this. How could I outcompete this coffee shop that just took my money? What's the profit margin on this £5.68? How much did this cost them? The coffee, pennies. Donut, 30p maybe, right? How much is the staff? They pay the staff minimum wage, £8 an hour. So I've already paid 30 minutes work from that. Yes. She's there for another 30 minutes for free, right? How much is the rent? How much is the business rates? If I had to open up there, how would I attract people to come into my shop as opposed to their shop? They got a big brand name. I'm brand new. Okay, well, the bitch working here is ugly. My one's going to be hot. Boom. That's the beginning. Next thing, do they have any signage outside? No. I'm going to try and put some signage outside. Do they have parking? No. I need parking. But you need to start thinking about how you can convince people to give you their money as opposed to giving it to the places they already give it. And once you do that, people say, I can't think of how to make money. If you start doing that for a year and just keep a notepad, you'll have 100 ideas of how to make money. You'll sit there and go, there's a place here that's doing this, and we could do it better this way. This place online's doing this, we can do it better this way. And then to get them all done, what do you need? Network. You need people. It's all about people. I always knew that even when I was fighting, and I was always trying to find a way to make money. Even when I was fighting, all I did was try different ways to make money. I tried a million things, and that's what you have to do. You have to try a bunch of things and learn a bunch of lessons until you finally find something that works. So the problem is as well, it's difficult because the way that humans work and the way that we've evolved as a species is that we don't really learn lessons unless they're learned the hard way.
Yeah.
I believe that unless a lesson has taught the hard way, you're not going to learn it. You can have so many near misses and people won't learn their lesson. Bro, you must know a guy who goes out there, nearly crashes his car, doesn't slow his ass down until he wrecks it.
Yeah.
Like, this is how people are, right? So you need that pain for the lesson to sting enough to really genuinely go inside of your mind. And it's the same with everything. It's the same with driving a car or business. Truthfully, if you want to learn a lesson about business, you're going to have to suffer at some point, right? So we always say that most people are not successful with their first companies, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. I get that. The truth is there's a lot of people who make a lot of money with their first company, but they just spunk it, act an idiot, and it all blows up in their face. And that's how you get the discipline on your fourth company, that when you have $3 million in the bank, you just leave it there. You know, and don't be done with it. So you need to go through some pain. You need to experience some negative things. You need to have to a degree some trauma to really even learn any lessons. So yeah, business studies, you're right. The book, that's not going to teach you anything about business. You need to get out there on the streets. You need to make mistakes. You need to suffer. You need to have the tax man knocking at your door. You got to deal with all that stuff so that you make sure it doesn't happen again. I really think that humans are stupid enough to only learn the hard way. That's kind of how it works. I am absolutely and utterly a believer in hard work. I'm a proponent of hard work. I have all this money and all I do is work. My entire life is work. This podcast is work. I'm getting in the car and going to another meeting, work. I want to go to the gym so I'm in good shape, work. It's all work. My entire life is work. And people don't want to look at life that way. They want to talk about work-life balance and being lazy and all this crap. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in, if you want to win, you have to outcompete the man who's prepared to do nothing but work. It's player versus player. If you're going to sit there and go, I don't want to work more than an hour a day, well, the guy who does want to work more than an hour a day is going to beat you. And no matter how smart you are, there's always a smart dude who's doing the same smart work you are for more hours than you're doing it. You don't notice if you're talented at something until all the hard work's done.
Yep.
I could be the most talented tennis player in the world, but I don't play tennis. So if I go down the tennis court, Joe Schmo is going to smoke me. I don't get to see my talent until I've worked so hard that I'm in the top 1%, and now I'm beating them because I have some God-given gift.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You have to do the hard work first. If there's no hard work, there's no smart work. So someone's going to sit there and go, I work smart, I don't work hard, so I only have to work an hour a day. If working smart gets you a lot done in an hour a day, then you should work smart for 12 hours a day and get 12 times the work done. The traditional path to wealth is terrible advice. To go to university, get a degree, get a job, blah, blah, blah. That's terrible advice. We already know that. We talked about that. I think follow your passion is also a terrible piece of advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. People say, hey man, you need to find what you're passionate about and do that. And what they're trying to say is only do what you like because you have no motivation to do anything else. And motivation in and of itself is a scam. I don't believe in motivation. I believe in discipline. I am not motivated to do the things I'm supposed to do every day. I don't wake up full of like joy that I have to go to the gym or that I have to work or I deal with crap. I don't feel motivated to do them. I'm disciplined. I do them regardless of how I feel. Whether I'm in the mood to do it or I'm not in the mood to do it, it gets done. That's discipline. Discipline's a real thing. Motivation is fleeting.
Yeah.
You're never going to be permanently motivated. So when someone comes along and says, oh, do what you're passionate about, what they're saying is you'll have endless motivation and then you'll be able to try hard. If you're the kind of person who can only try hard at something he enjoys, then you're going to fail. Because most things you enjoy don't pay any money. If they paid money, you wouldn't enjoy them. It's called a job, right? Nobody likes their job. You like your hobby. I'm sure you like playing video games. Maybe 1%, 0.1% can make money from video games, right? Most people, you ain't ever going to make it.
Yeah.
Do you think the guy in China who owns a concrete plant is passionate about concrete? Do you think he's sitting there stroking it at night, naked in bed? It's money. Be passionate about success. If you're passionate about money, then you can be passionate about anything. I'll be passionate about any business on earth that pays me. If you pay me $1 billion to dig that hole, I'll be very passionate about that hole. I obviously know what I'm talking about to some degree, right? So if Mike Tyson walks in here and tells you he's going to teach you how to box and says you can't fight, you're a pussy, if that upsets you, then you can't learn, right? It's Mike Tyson. Just shut up and listen. Yeah. If someone richer than me comes along and says, Andrew, you don't know shit, you're a dumbass and you're a brokey, I'm going to sit there and go, okay, maybe I'm a brokey, Elon. Tell me something, right? I'll listen. But if you're going to sit there and go, don't call me names that I'm not listening, you're never going to get anywhere, right? You don't become the master unless you're very, very good at being a student. And I've always been very, very good at knowing when to shut up. Oh, a lot of people with no money are really, really arrogant. I know a lot of broke people who are very arrogant. And their arrogance is a shield for their laziness. People will shield laziness with anything. No one wants to admit they're lazy. So they'll shield it with disbelief. That's a scam. Or I don't work hard. I work smart. Bollocks. More cover. Quitters are the worst people on the planet. You can give a quitter absolutely everything and they will still fail. Quitters can have every single advantage. Quitters can have all the information. Quitters can have all the tutelage. Quitters can have a mentorship. Quitters can have someone who messages them every morning. Hey, bro, let's get it. And guess what they're going to do at the end? Quit. They ain't never going to have shit. So if you're a quitter, I don't even want you even inside my organization. I don't want quitters anywhere near me because you're never going to be successful, right? You need the people who don't quit. I don't quit. Every single facet of my life is testament to the fact that I don't quit. When people see my plane in the sky, you can say whatever you want about me. You can call me arrogant. You can call me anything you want, but you cannot call me a quitter. I didn't quit. So that's the difference. When it was hard, I did it anyway. That's who I've always been. And if you don't have that kind of tenacity, you're never going to be anything. So look, everyone loves passive money, right? I make money as I sleep. I get it. You need to de-link your time to your money, because if you're only working for money, you run out of time. You can't make enough money. I understand all those principles. My point is, if you have no money and you're coming to me saying, I want to make passive income, why are you not making active income? Get up off your ass and work first. Because there's no such thing as completely, truly 100% passive. You're going to have to check on it. You have to maintain it. You're going to have to find a new tenant for that property. You're going to have to make sure that DeFi crypto farm you're in doesn't go to zero. It's not a rug pull. Yeah. You're always going to have to keep an eye on it, right? But the idea that people with no money are already so concerned with making money without work is amazing to me. You should be worried about active income. If you show me, if I'm a brokey and you show me how to make $1,000 an hour, I don't sit there and go, okay, but how can I make that passive? I go, cool, I'm making $18,000 a day because I'm going to work. You don't need to worry about passive income until you have no more time. I look at passive income because I have 18 hours a day I work. When all 18 of those hours are done and my workload still isn't finished, I have to find a way to make some of those income streams passive, either via staff or whatever else. Yep. And that's how I work smart. I use all of my time, and when all my time is done, now I have to become more efficient so that I can get more done within the same time frame. To sit there and say, I don't want to use my time, so I want passive income is dumb shit. The 16-year-old making 45 grand a month, if he was to sit to me and go, I don't want to make the TikToks, I want someone else to do it, make it passive, that he wouldn't be making money. He's just working. You have to just work. At some point you have to bite the bullet and just work. So when someone comes to me talking about passive income and they're a brokey, I'm like, you are just lazy. You are lazy. You will never get any. Lazy people never get anywhere in life, doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's tennis or money. If you're lazy, you're never going to get there. To the normies, to the brokies, they're not ready to listen to it. Yeah. The Matrix, they say in the movie, people who are still dependent on the system will fight to defend the system. There are people who I will sit there and say to them, look, your university degree is a scam. They lied to you. I will show you how to make money. And their reply will be, no, I went to a good university. They are desperate. No, that degree means something. You work at Greg's, G. Doesn't mean, and shut up. They won't accept it, right? So certain people are not ready for the truth. People who are ready for the truth seek it and they find it.
I can never be depressed if I never slow down. Speed is extremely important. Speed defies gravity. How does a plane fly through the air and defy gravity? Speed. It's moving too fast to fall. If you're always attacking life, if you're always doing things, if you're always making more money, if you're always traveling the world, doing this, doing that, new car, here, there, new podcast, meeting James English, boom, boom, boom. If you're always doing things all the time, unhappiness can't catch you. But I also know that speed is a fantastic way to be happy all the time. I'm always looking forward to something. I wake up every day excited. I'll go do this today. I'll go do this today. I'll go do this today. And I very much live my life in a frame of, no, I have to do this. It's very much I get to do this. There's another thing that a lot of people make a mistake with when I talk to them, like, I have to go to work today. Change your language. I get to go to work today. Imagine you had no job. Be worse, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't be working. So you get to go to work. I have to fix the car. At least you have a car. You get to fix your car. Most people don't got one. I have to go get the kids. You get to go get the kids because you have these beautiful children who love you. You understand? People's even their own language is wrong. The world can be framed. Maybe I'm completely crazy. Maybe I'm full of shit, like you said. Maybe I am. But the frames I've installed in my mind are all beneficial to me. So if that makes me crazy and full of shit, good. Because I can't become depressed. So you can sit there and tell me I'm full of shit while you're depressed, and I'm happy. And I would never want to adopt the thinking of a depressed person.
People will shield laziness with anything. No one wants to admit they're lazy. So they'll shield it with disbelief. That's a scam. Or, I don't work hard, I work smart. Bollocks. More cover. For just anything it takes to say, I don't want to work.
Do you believe in that? Work smart or not harder?
I believe in both.
Yeah.
But there's a time when it comes to work smart. And most people are trying to do the smart work before they do the hard work. It's kind of like talent, right? You don't notice if you're talented at something until all the hard work's done.
Yep.
I could be the most talented tennis player in the world, but I don't play tennis. So if I go down the tennis court, Joe Schmo's going to smoke me. I don't get to see my talent until I've worked so hard that I'm in the top 1%, and now I'm beating them because I have some God-given gift.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You have to do the hard work first. If there's no hard work, there's no smart work. So someone's going to sit there and go, I work smart, I don't work hard, so I only have to work an hour a day. If working smart gets you a lot done in an hour a day, then you should work smart for 12 hours a day and get 12 times the work done. I am absolutely and utterly a believer in hard work. I'm a proponent of hard work. I have all this money and all I do is work. My entire life is work. This podcast is work. I'm getting in the car and going to another meeting, work. I want to go to the gym so I'm in good shape, work. It's all work. My entire life is work. And people don't want to look at life that way. They want to talk about work-life balance and being lazy and all this crap. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in if you want to win, you have to outcompete the man who's prepared to do nothing but work. It's player versus player. If you're going to sit there and go, I don't want to work more than an hour a day, well, the guy who does want to work more than an hour a day is going to beat you. And no matter how smart you are, there's always a smart dude who's doing the same smart work you are for more hours than you're doing it. That's just the nature of the game. The way that humans work and the way that we've evolved as a species is that we don't really learn lessons unless they're learned the hard way.
Yeah.
I believe that unless a lesson has taught the hard way, you're not going to learn it. You can have so many near misses and people won't learn their lesson. Bro, you must know a guy who goes out there, nearly crashes his car, doesn't slow his ass down until he wrecks it.
Yeah.
Like, this is how people are, right? So you need that pain for the lesson to sting enough to really genuinely go inside of your mind. And it's the same with everything. It's the same with driving a car or business. Truthfully, if you want to learn a lesson about business, you're going to have to suffer at some point, right? So we always say that most people are not successful with their first companies, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. I get that. The truth is there's a lot of people who make a lot of money with their first company, but they just spunk it, act an idiot, and it all blows up in their face. And that's how you get the discipline on your fourth company that when you have $3 million in the bank, you just leave it there. You know, and don't be done with it. So you need to go through some pain. You need to experience some negative things. You need to have to a degree some trauma to really even learn any lessons. So yeah, business studies, you're right. The book, that's not going to teach you anything about business. You need to get out there on the streets. You need to make mistakes. You need to suffer. You need to have the tax man knocking at your door. You got to deal with all that stuff so that you make sure it doesn't happen again. I really think that humans are stupid enough to only learn the hard way. And life really doesn't have to be that complicated. When you see somebody that has something you want, you just got to try and work out how they got it.
Yeah.
And that's the missing part. Most people see people with things they want and they don't do the second half. They don't try and work out how they got that thing. Oh, my man has a Ferrari. Okay. I wish I had a Ferrari. Okay. They don't sit there and go for an hour. How did he get a Ferrari? It doesn't cross that part is the part they don't want to do, right? They just go, oh, he has a Ferrari. Wish I had a Ferrari. And they go back to TV.
Yeah.
And that's why they lose. It's player versus player out here, man. It's on the street. It's not easy. For every dollar you make, for every pound you take, you took it from someone else. You don't make money. You take money. People don't understand the way that money works. You're not the Federal Reserve. You can't create money from thin air. Every single pound in your bank is money you took from someone else. And when I say take, I don't mean it in a negative way. You might have convinced them to give it to you. You might have a coffee shop. I'll give you a nice coffee. You'll give me some money. Cool. But you still took his money.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're out here trying to take stuff from other people, don't you want to have a team? You want to do it by yourself? You want to be Rambo?
Because if you get two of you doing it.
You get two of you. That's right. So the whole idea of this lone soldier, this Rambo, I'll do it all by myself. That's all dead, bro. You need to have a team. It's player versus player. And for the same reason, if you were out here on the street and you want to defend yourself, you want your boys around you. It's the same thing with trying to get rich. Like you're laughing with your boys.
Yeah.
The brokey days are great. And I'm not complaining about being rich. Obviously, I worked hard for this and it's a fantastic life I live now. But I think without those brokey days, without those original days to compare it to, without that juxtaposition, then I don't think being rich would be fun at all. I think it's only fun because you can compare it to the days when you weren't rich. That's the only thing that makes it fun. The only thing that makes my $10,000 steak fun is that you can laugh saying how you never had 10 grand in your bank till you were 27 years old.
Yeah.
Like otherwise it's boring. Otherwise okay, steak. And I think if you're born with too much money, that you'll never truly be happy. I think you need the brokey days. They're the best days. They're the best.
Yeah.
You meet somebody wealthy, their family at one point was not wealthy. And then the one shows up. One person changes the family tree forever. In my family, I'm the one. And it wasn't because I wanted it or I hoped for it. I fought for it. I want to fight for my family. I want my mom and dad proud of me. I want me proud of me. I want to look in the mirror and be happy with the man I look back at, that he gave it everything, that he went for it. That's what I want for you. I want you to be happy with you, not cool. I've seen all kinds of cool guys my whole career. Cool guys go broke. They have a good 2 or 3 years. Players who implement strategies that get focused and intense, they win decades. You got to win year after year after year. I'm almost 50 years old, man. I've got a loaded calendar. I'm after it. I'm not casual. I want to win. You hear me? Wake up. You want to win? You want to be a millionaire? You got to quit being so casual. You walk slow. You implement things slow. You talk a good game like you're going to be somebody. Business is a sport. It's competitive. You got to get focused and get in a hurry. Wake up, brother. If you make a couple of these adjustments, man, you can change your life. You can change your family forever. It's not casual. You can change the chapters in the book of your life if you want to. You're the author. It might be year 2, 3, 4 before you get your big win, but you could decide now, I'm going to walk, talk, and be a different person. You're the lead character in the story of your life. But too many of you let what I call the extras of life dictate where you're going. Y'all hear me? Here's the truth. Most people's dreams can be bought. With enough failure, they will sell their children's dreams. They can't still fight. With a little success or a whole bunch of failure, most people will sell their will to win. Some of you have sold it because you're making a little bit of money. You don't work like you did when you were making nothing. Some of you will sell your win for some failure. You're probably buyable. But if you decide if my will cannot be bought, I'll keep fighting for my family. I'm the one. I'm going to change my family tree forever. Decide now. You're going to keep negotiating the price, or can you not be bought?
That is you. That is you. That no one can do it for you but you. You must understand that. I remember I was playing a game with my 9-year-old son, John Leslie, and I beat him 10 straight games in a game called Connect 4. And I got up. I said, I'm ready to go to sleep now. John Leslie said, no, you can't go now, Dad. I said, why? He said, it's not over until I win. We sat down and we played several other games. And finally, John Leslie won, and he got up and he yawned. And he said, I'm ready to go to sleep now. What if all of us took that attitude after we face a rejection and a no, or we have a meeting and no one shows up? What if we have that kind of attitude? The car's repossessed. Nobody believes in you, but you're still looking at your dream. Say to yourself, it's not over until I win. It's possible. I can live my dream. It's me. I've got to make it happen. It's not over until I win. As you run toward your dream, it's necessary that you have goals, that you write those goals down, that you plan. It's also necessary that you look for ways to always find a way to pull it out when everybody else thinks that you are defeated. But the next thing, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share with you that some of you already know that it's hard. It was hard when just over 3 years ago, and I fell on some hard times, and I was sleeping in my office. It was hard coming into the lobby, and the security said, can we see you for a moment? And he gave me an envelope. And the envelope was from management that said, this is an office tower. Do not sleep in your office. And it was hard coming through the lobby. And sometimes they would laugh. There's a guy talking about becoming successful. He's bathing in the bathroom upstairs. He sleeps on the floor. Look at him. It was hard, ladies and gentlemen, coming to speak to people. I was behind on my bills and my dreams, and I'm saying to them, you can live your dream. It was hard, ladies and gentlemen. There were times that I doubted myself. I said, God, why is this happening to me? I'm not trying to steal or rob from anybody. Why did this have to happen to me? And here's what I want to say to you. Don't give up on your dream. No one could have convinced me by holding on, by continuing to push forward, that one day I would have my own talk show from Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor, never knowing my mother or father. It's a long shot. No college training, labeled educable, mentally retarded, but I kept running toward my dream. Don't stop. Don't stop running toward your dream. There are moments when you're going to doubt yourself. There are rough times that are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass. It's very important for you to believe that you are the one. Begin to envision yourselves as being blessed and highly favored to reach your goals. That you can make your parents proud. You can touch millions of people's lives, and the world will never be the same again because you came this way. But that's why you're here, because you are the one. It's not going to be easy. It was hard laying on the floor, looking out of the window, daydreaming, saying, Les, can you do this? Can you make this happen? And something said within me, you're the one. You're the one.
How does one become a ladies' man?
Well, it's simple. You know what? And it's super simple. I don't think there are any tricks and there are any hacks to it. If you were to ask men the same question, if you wanted to give a woman advice on how to get attention from all the high value men in the world, the answer would be a virtuous, super beautiful 10 out of 10 high value women. So I don't think it's a trick because I don't try to get women. I feel like I try to become the best version of myself I can be, and then women will naturally come to you. And that's as simple as that. And I know it sounds easy. It's actually the hardest answer in the world because it's the answer no one wants to hear. Try to be the best version of yourself. It's as simple as that. Work out in the gym, read something, learn something, become interesting, become wealthy, of course, because the wealth comes with a fun lifestyle. Women love fun.
Yes.
That's why they like fast cars. That's why they like when you take nice vacations, because women love fun. And when you're that guy, you'll be surprised how easy it is. If you're sitting there lonely, if you're truly lonely and you can't get any women, I can't teach you anything. Because if you had the basics, you wouldn't be lonely. It's not actually the outside perception you have. I will walk around the city occasionally if I just finished training in sweatpants and sneakers or whatever. And I know people know me, but let's even talk 3-4 years ago when maybe I wasn't so well known, but I was still dressing very well in my free time. It's how you feel in and of yourself. If I saw a beautiful woman sitting there at the mall sipping a coffee and I was dressed in, my beard was all messy. I had a hood up and I was in like sweatpants. The confidence, you haven't maximized your own confidence, if you know what I'm saying. When you're dressed really, really well, you just had a fresh haircut, you feel like a different person. So it's how it makes you feel first and foremost. Like you could do anything. You put on a good suit. It's the same reason. I mean, this is universal across human nature. This isn't something specific to men. It's specific to women as well. It's every single person in the world. Women will do their makeup and do their hair and put on a nice dress, and then their personality, you'll know when you hang out with them, seems different. They're more full of their confidence. They're more their natural self. But definitely it's perception as well. People take you more seriously. People are more likely to stop and listen to what you have to say. If you're dressed like a homeless person and you try and disturb someone when they're walking past you, they think you want $1. People are much more likely to listen to what you have to say, and also makes you more memorable. Also makes you more memorable.
A lot of guys don't dress up.
Keep in mind, because you go for a job interview, you have to understand, even if you just bought a basic kind of shirt from a store and some pants and some shoes and you think you're dressed nice, that's like the standard issue job interview uniform. The guy who's doing the job interview, I know it's special to you. I know you've prepared. I know you think, oh, fuck, I really need to get this job. He's seen 40 people today, 50 people today. Who was the guy in the really nice suit? That stands out, So also it burns you into people's minds and memories much more.
Yeah.
When people say the word Tristan Tate, oh yeah, he always wears nice suits. And let me tell you something. When you are dressed very well, You aren't in a place, you become the place. You become part of the ambiance of the place. Let's say you take the fanciest restaurant you could think of. Imagine a very fancy restaurant, right? And you walk in there and everyone's in beach shorts and Crocs and baseball t-shirts. It ruins the ambiance of the restaurant. So you're also doing your part to add to the aesthetics of a nice location. So if you go somewhere like Monaco to the casino, you can't get in wearing a baseball shirt and Crocs. They won't let you in. Doesn't matter how much money you have. But you go there dressed like me, or I'd probably dress better than this if I went to the casino. I'd be bow tied up and everything. I'm adding to the aesthetic of the place by just being a man in a $30,000 tuxedo standing by the bar sipping drinks. I'm adding to the place. Whereas if you go somewhere looking for a bum, like looking like a bum, you're subtracting from the aesthetics of a beautiful place. And you can get a good suit for $300, $400, $500 if you go to Hugo Boss or something. But you can get much cheaper than that. And if it fits you well and you're in decent shape. Yeah. And if you're in decent shape, that's the key. If you gotta be in shape. If you work hard, it's like t-shirts. It's like t-shirts. You wear a plain black t-shirt and you're in good shape versus wearing a Versace t-shirt that costs $900, but you're fat as fuck. But you know what's the most important? Yeah. Don't be a geek. Because it's the man inside the suit. Yes, it's the man inside the suit. You give me a t-shirt and shorts, and you put some of these dorks who hate on me in a $25,000 suit, and watch who gets the women, watch who gets the business contract, watch who will pass any job interview. Me in my shorts. So rule number 1, don't be a geek. Women are always interested in learning new stuff. Yes. Women are always interested in hearing new things that they find interesting. And it always depends on the vehicle of delivery. Yes. You know, it's the vehicle of delivery. If you're a little nerd who's like, oh, well, women should like me. I know lots of stuff. I read lots of books. Yeah, but you're a little dork with a pencil neck. Women aren't interested in even sitting down next to you, let alone listening to anything that comes out of your mouth. If they think, I might want to sleep with this guy, because you have to understand, before dates, especially when it's your 3rd, 4th, 5th date, the decision to sleep with you, go to bed with you, give you what you're after is already made usually by women before you go. So you just have to go out and freestyle it. If you're sitting there saying interesting stuff that she doesn't know, will she remember it? No. Will she talk about it with her friends? No. But they find things they don't know incredibly interesting. So become an interesting guy. When you're not looking for something serious, which none of you young people really should be, have fun. I got one more question. And when you're trying to have fun, don't ask what you don't want to know. Like, girls lie and girls aren't honest. So if you're 21, the girl you're dating or the girls you're trying to hook up with or whatever aren't probably going to be the girls that you marry. Yeah. You know, if you meet a girl and you think, oh, this is suspicious, why is her handbag so expensive, blah, blah, maybe just hang out, eat dinner with her, have fun with her, and when it ends, it ends. Maybe don't try to be, hey, what are you actually really doing? You're 21, shut up. One, she doesn't have to explain herself to you, but 2, you're not in the position where you can offer something so serious. It's only when you finally establish yourself and you're looking for those girls that you perhaps, want to settle down with, want to get married with, want to start a family with, where you need to be analyzing her past. So that's a game to play for the older dudes, I feel, rather than you youngsters. A lot of guys are like 19. How do I find a good girl? Maybe just, become a millionaire and find one when you're 28. Maybe just shut the fuck up about finding a good girl. Yeah. If she'll sleep with you when you're 19, maybe that's good enough for now. I think the simple advice is accountability and self-reflection. What I would like you to do after watching this wonderful show, go to your bedroom, take off your shirt, strip down to your underwear, look at yourself in the mirror. Pause. Speak to yourself for 10 minutes. Think, if I didn't have this nice house and I wasn't stood here in this particular house with the Lamborghini outside and I wasn't this rich, what about me would women want? And if the answer is nothing, then you're only going to attract the women who are into your money and your money only. Because I've got loads of money. And I understand that women enjoy my company. They like being around me. They like listening to me. So if you have nothing but money, then that's what you're going to get. The girls who are after your money. You have to up your game in every single way and stop throwing the money around. And then you'll meet the girls who like you because you're strong and fit, who like you because you're smart, who like you because you're charming, who like you because you dress well, who like you because, I don't know, maybe you have class, you have etiquette, you have poise, you take them to things that they don't know. You take them to the opera instead of this club. You'll find those special girls when you are a man that those kind of girls will want. But let me tell you something. Most women I know are smarter than the millionaire streamers, the clowns who talk nonsense and do bullshit content. They're aware. Most women I know are smarter. Yeah. So you take someone smarter than you, who's after your money, she's going to get it. You know what? I'm actually quite a good specimen of man. I'm good looking enough. I'm strong enough. I'm fit enough. I'm interesting enough. Yeah, I could see why women like me. If you can genuinely reflect in that way and you're honest to yourself and you're right, then you should be meeting good women. So of course they get the girls who are just after their money. I don't blame the girls. Everyone's going to complain about gold diggers. You're a skinny little pencil neck dweeb with nothing interesting to say. You're not manly. You're not physically attractive. You don't speak well. What else should they want? Yeah. What else should they want? They don't feel protected around you. They don't feel safe with you. Of course they want the money. It honestly doesn't bother me like it bothers you, because I think this is a dog-eat-dog world. And I think if you're going to make yourself a target, because the answer to their problem, they think the answer to their problem is more clout, more money. I don't know. Maybe the good girl's going to come along. The answer to their problem is 3 years of hard work that they're not going to do. They're not going to do it. And they know that's the answer. They know that's the answer. 3 years of hard work is the answer to their problem, but they're not going to do it. So am I going to get mad at the at the lion for picking on the weakest gazelle?
Nope.
No, I'm not, because that's the way the world is. You know, I think the younger men should be seeing this, being like, oh, we got finessed by this girl. Okay, cool. And if they run into some money, they should be able to see. You can learn from bad examples just as much as you can learn from good examples. So the bad examples are out there for a reason. And it doesn't upset me to see. It upsets me when I've had friends who are really great guys, really hardworking dudes, try to be the best version of themselves, who've gone through bad divorces, who've gone through bad breakups. And yeah, that's sad. And it's sad to see women take advantage of men who are actually trying their best. But if you want to be the lame gazelle walking around with a limp, the lion's going to eat you. I don't actually feel sorry for them, and I don't care, because they know the answer to the problem. Everyone knows the rules to the game already. Everybody knows that if you wake up and you're lazy and you sit around on your phone, you scroll on TikTok for 4 or 5 hours, you go to work at your normal job, you work your shift when there's nothing wrong with hard work, and there's nobility in working any job, and then you go home and you do nothing and you watch TV, you know you're not going to make it. It's not actually something that I need to tell anybody. So true. And they do this to me on super chats all the time. And they do this to Andrew specifically, because Andrew is a more accomplished fighter than me. They were like, hey, Andrew, give me some advice on how to be a good kickboxer. Is there a gym near your house? Why aren't you there right now? Why weren't you there yesterday? Everyone already knows the answers, and they search, unfortunately, for cheat codes, for magic words that I'm going to tell you that are going to make you rich. You have to outcompete everybody else, because there are only so many, although dollars can be printed in an unlimited amount, there's only so much wealth in the world. There are only so many Lamborghinis that are built every year. There are only so many mansions in every single country. There are only so many private jets and so many beautiful women and so much gasoline and fuel and food and caviar and all the crap that everyone wants. And there's only so much gold and so many Pateks and so many Rolexes that are made. You have to outcompete other people to get the things that you want. You know us. I am glued to my laptop and phone. All I do is work, and all Andrew does is work. So the fact that we have shown such amazing results coming from where we come from, there's no magic spell. There's no hocus pocus. I go back to my younger self and I'd say, yeah, keep it up, because you're definitely going to make it, because that young guy who was broke is now me. Oh, the worst advice is great. The worst advice exists everywhere in the universe, and you hear it all the time. The worst advice, I don't know if the people in charge of the world put this out here on purpose, but you see it every single day. Some flowers take longer to bloom. Don't worry, your time will come. If you're not where you want to be today, don't worry. It's gonna happen. Your time's gonna come. Your ship's gonna come in. That's the worst shit I've ever seen. And it's on the internet every day. You're going to start seeing it now. You're going to start seeing it. It's on the internet everywhere. You can just scroll past it. You haven't taken in the bullshit.
Just
bro, it's terrible. Wow. And for any young person to sit there whose life isn't going right, who had a failed relationship, they're 21, working a dead-end job, but to see on the internet, don't worry, some flowers take longer to bloom. You're going to make it one day. Your time will come. And going, okay, great. Sigh of relief. My time will come. The internet said so. If you buy into that, you deserve to be poor forever. Like, panic mode is the best mode to be in. Things aren't quite right. Life sucks. My girlfriend just left me. Can't pay my rent. Panic mode. Fuck the internet. Fuck some flowers take longer to bloom. Fuck my time is going to come. Panic. Panic and succeed. That's the worst advice I've ever seen. Happiness is the purpose of life, but not for yourself. Let me make sure that my children are happy. Let me make sure my mother is happy. Let me make sure any woman who comes into my life is happy. Let me even, because men don't have each other's backs these days, make my friends, my male friends, as happy as I can. But nothing about my quest for happiness is about, I guess, personal happiness. I do the things I like to do. I like to drive fast cars. I do these things because they entertain me. But I don't wake up every day trying to be happy. So I don't think happiness is the purpose of life for men. I think men should be trying to make everyone else happy. It's very ironic, actually, that they'll call old-fashioned men like me who want to provide for their women and not maybe have their woman have a job and provide for his family in the traditional way, they'll say like, oh, you just want your woman to be a slave for you. Okay, she might make a few sandwiches. Okay, she might cook a few meals. She might change a few diapers. But if I'm working 18-hour days, 7 days a week, I am the slave. Yeah. I serve people. That's what I do. The people in my life, I serve them. And by exchange, they serve you back. Your daughter can make you happy. Your wife can make you happy. Girlfriend, mother, they can make you happy too. And just seeing the smiles on their faces is often enough for men. Success is a form of revenge. Success is the best form of revenge. I don't believe in getting revenge on anybody. I've had people screw me over for money, break my heart, upset me. Yeah, but I don't do it for the revenge. It just naturally happens. Being angry at someone is like holding a burning stone in your hand with the intention of throwing at them. Like it might do them some damage, but it'll do you more damage first. I don't hold on to these. I didn't need fuel to go and make something of myself. It's just naturally happened as a form of revenge. But success is a form of revenge. I think it's the only form of revenge.
If God decides that I don't need nightmares anymore, I'll fathom out how to stop it. If God decides I need to wake up in the middle of the night in a sweat, fearful or afraid they're coming to get me, then that's God's plan for me, and that's what I'm going to deal with. I'm not a coward. I'm not afraid of any of these things. I'm not afraid of feeling bad. Now, I'm not a coward. And I want to make this very clear. I'm not a coward. I don't care if I don't sleep again for the rest of my life. I refuse to take any fucking pill, and I refuse to sit and have my mind altered by anything I do not control. I don't care if I have nightmares for the rest of human time. Right. As long as I'm in charge of my mind, I'm in charge of my life. If God decides that I don't need nightmares anymore, I'll fathom out how to stop it. If God decides I need to wake up in the middle of the night in a sweat, fearful or afraid they're coming to get me, then that's God's plan for me, and that's what I'm going to deal with. I'm not a coward. I'm not afraid of any of these things. I'm not afraid of feeling bad. I'm not afraid of anxiety. I'm not afraid of panic. This is one of the things I think a lot of men out there struggle with is they're so worried and afraid of bad feelings. And to me, that's just showing that you've had an easy life. Like there's real people out here who are trying to kill you. There's people out here who put a knife in your neck. You're scared of what? Feeling sad? Like there's real problems. What are you worried about feeling sad for? Who gives a shit? I could feel sad for the rest of my life, and I guarantee one, nobody would know, and two, I would be monumentally successful regardless. So why are we even talking about it? I have no fear for a negative feeling. I have fear for me not being able to provide for my children. I have fear for people who rely on me not being provided for and cared for. But I don't have I don't wake up and go, I'm worried if I might feel sad today. Who cares? Who cares? I can be happy or sad on the same day. Nobody notices, and the same things get done. The exact same amount of work gets done. Nothing changes. Am I supposed to be happy? Am I supposed to feel good?
No, it's not happy.
No, of course, but this is what I don't understand about people, especially men in the world today. Why are they so worried about being afraid? Why are they so worried about, I was afraid every time I fought. Yeah. I fought anyway. Yeah. Like, I don't let fear guide what I'm going to do. I do what I'm supposed to do regardless of how I feel. So I don't see anything wrong with feeling fearful. I don't see anything wrong with feeling stressed or under pressure or anxious. All these things men are trying to get rid of. And I talk about men specifically. I gender this because I'm a man. I don't know how it feels to be a woman. But all these things that people are trying very hard to get rid of from their brains, I don't see why they need to leave. I will argue the point that if I feel anxious and pressured and stressed and fearful, I will get more done than if I was happy. I think if I was happy, I'd just be hedonistic and just wasting my time. I think that you get a whole bunch done with these negative connotations and negative emotions, and I think that life is suffering and pain, and you're here to go through it, and the sooner you get used to the taste, the more successful you're going to be. I have no interest in trying to change the flavor, my friend. The flavor of life is pain, and I will eat all of it. And it doesn't matter if they put me back in jail or not. I'm not sitting there going, how can I be happy in jail? I will sit in jail and say, yes, this sucks. It's supposed to suck. Yes, I'm not enjoying this. Yes, I'm anxious and paranoid. And yes, that guy might stab me. And yes, I can't sleep and I miss my family. And this is what's supposed to happen to me. And this is how I become the best man I can possibly be. And I'm going to succeed regardless. If I had an affliction, I would like to be my own doctor. And I think with your mind, you can do a lot of it yourself. And I think if you have a very strict framework in how you measure how successful you are as a human, and I do it through competence and achievement, I say, which mindset do I need to achieve as much as I can possibly achieve? Right. I think the only thing better than having everything you want is not wanting anything, right? So I have every car on this planet. I have 40 supercars. Most people want a supercar. I have 40. But there's that unique 0.1% of people who genuinely don't want one. And I think that's more freeing than having everything you want, right? So the true mindset is not wanting anything. Most people, the best they can do is having everything they want. And I feel like you can kind of do this with the emotions as well. I guess my general consensus is that I don't think I can change or affect the world to the point where pain and suffering and bad things are not going to happen. So isn't it best if I just enjoy all of that? Doesn't that make me as powerful as possible if I say, oh yeah, okay, this is going to suck. Good. I mean, I do it when I fight. Yesterday I was fighting, right? We were doing 12 rounds and all of us were destroyed. And the more he hurt me, the more I wanted to hurt him back. The more he hurt me, the better it felt. The more powerful I felt, the more he hit me. Because then it's my turn, right? So if I can't stop him from punching me, and I'll do my best, but if I can't, then surely you should learn to enjoy it, right? And I don't think you can stop life from hitting you. And I don't think you can stop life from giving you unexpected surprises. And I don't think you can stop yourself from feeling sometimes sad or anxious or upset. So I think the best mindset you could adopt is finding that engaging and exciting. I'm not going to lie to you. Although I am facing very serious charges, and although they are trying to destroy my life, and although I cannot sleep the same, and although they're out to get me, and although I've suffered, part of me is excited. Part of me is like, okay.
Why?
Because it's a war.
You like war?
I think all men do.
I do.
Yeah, of course. All men do. Yeah. So it's a battle.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. So I'm not saying I'm glad it happened, because I'm certainly not. And I'm not saying I'm going to win, but I'm saying that I've trained myself to the point where if I were walking down the street and 10 men were to pull knives on me, I'd be intimidated, but 20% of me would go, this will be one to remember. You have to be good enough on your worst day to beat your opponent on his best day. On the day he feels motivated and gets out of bed and wants to fight and he's raring to go and he's on the top of his game and you feel the absolute opposite. You want to lay in bed. You don't want to move. You don't want to go anywhere, but you have to get up and have to fight this man. You have to be good enough to beat him anyway. You have to be that good.
Don't hold on. It's the red down. I know that so I don't tell you what the flying. I got my they don't understand the shades, and that's the same. It's something in the head. I got a bullet with your eyes on the promotion. So close your eyes as I stick this clock out to your fist and in your mouth. So get ready for the blood. This is one, two, kill.
Sorry, that's just the sound of me being monumentally rich. Despite the fact they're trying to stop me from being monumentally rich. They're trying so hard to stop me being rich. Wait, what's that I can hear? Is that a DBS 770 that my brother's driving? Yeah, it must be. Oh, hello, Tristan. Jail, please.
Who has?
Just us two. Oh, your fault.
Nathan and Andrew have been looking for a cheap hotel for well over an hour, but haven't been able to find anywhere within their budgets.
My unmatched perspicacity, coupled with sheer indefatigability, makes me a feared opponent in any realm.
Hello.
Hi.
You look really nice.
Thank you. Let's do two kisses. 1, 2.
Oh, very nice to meet you. What's
Very
your
nice to
name?
meet you. Andrew Tate. What's your name?
Andrew. Nice to meet you. Triangles. How did you get here today?
I flew in.
Flew in. Different? Something different?
Yeah. Up in the jet.
You're in on a jet. Who is this guy?
I know what things in my mind with all these if you get out there, on the islands, it's for the British. This all raised by field of like it is. I feel it's every this area of space. I know that
Anyone who knows me will tell you, if I'm awake, I'm working. The second I wake up, I'm on my laptop till the second I go to sleep. First thing I do when I wake up is check my phone. I only enjoy work. I like to work. I like to feel proud of myself. I don't want to be happy. I want to feel proud of myself. Tristan, back me up. Have I ever said I need a day where I just need a day off? Have you ever heard me say I need a day off?
No.
Ever.
Hydra, it's a nice room. No, my hotel room was broken into. I'm in Village, my hotel room was broken into. And I know who broke into it. You know who broke into my hotel room? No. Get Andrew. I gave Andrew the key, and he broke the door.
I'm only passionate about things that massively improve my life if I win my current battle against the Matrix. Once I crack the Matrix story, I will become the powerful man. Relevance to achieve interviews and get views they would never normally get to spread hateful propaganda. If you can't afford me, you're going to have to go back to just lying about me without speaking. Because God knows the truth. I know the truth. Most of the world knows the truth. And I genuinely believe that Allah is the best of planners. And whatever happens to me, regardless of whether I am martyred, regardless of whether they put a bullet in my brain, I know what I have done is good for the world. And the things I will do will continue to be good for the world. I have absolutely everything I could ever possibly desire. And if I wanted something that I couldn't have, I guarantee you can speak again in a few months and
Legends have always been forged in fire. You little dorks at home don't understand that every single man you can name from history was born from pain, born from fire, born from doing the things other men can't do. Respect is on the other side of fear. You're afraid. I'm not. That's why I'm different. I am built fucking different.
Well, from a networking standpoint, the number one thing you have to remember, because I'm now at a stage in my life where a lot of people want to get to know me. So I see it from the other end. As a younger man, I would introduce myself to people and try to get to know them because they were important. Now I'm on the other side of the equation. The main thing to remember is that if you treat people like you're a fan, then they're going to treat you like you're one of the fans. That's it. If you treat people like a celebrity, they're going to treat you like a fan. So many years ago, even when I was not famous and not even relatively successful or before I had any money, when I would meet famous people, I met a few famous actors through my kickboxing. You'd speak to them one-on-one like a normal person. You'd introduce yourself. You'd ask them their name even, not in an obnoxious way, even if you already know what it is. And the best way to go about it is when you're working in the room and you finally get face to face with these people. Do not ask for selfies. Do not ask for pictures. Do not act shocked or surprised or like a fan. Do not worship them. When I was sitting with that famous rapper the other day, it just sat down on the couch and we were shooting the shit man to man for over 45 minutes, an hour. I didn't ask him about his songs. I didn't ask him about his music, and we just talked like men. So that's the best way to network, I guess, is that when you finally do get the opportunity to speak to people, speak to them like a normal person. Otherwise, they're never going to take you seriously. I'll be perfectly honest. Geography is one of the most important things to that. There's about 5 or 6 cities in the world where the people hang out, and you have to know the places in those cities where the people hang out. So again, you have to have your dress code right. You have to have your manners right. You have to have at least some money to be able to get into the door of those places. The world works in a very strange way when it comes to high-level men and especially beautiful women as well. Imagine it in terms of 3 different rooms, and one room is free to walk inside, and it's where all the fat chicks and the brokies hang out. One room costs $2,000 to walk inside just to get in the door, and there are the average-looking girls and the guys with a bit of money. And then one room costs $100,000 to walk into, and that's where all the 10 out of 10s hang out, and all the millionaires and billionaires and people you want to network with. That's exactly how the world actually works. It's not an analogy, because all of the places where the people who you want to meet are costs at least some money or you have to have some type of reputation or some type of standing or some type of network or good friends to actually get into these places. The number one thing that I like to do is to get known in all of the best spots that there are. So if you walk into the best restaurant and they already have a table reserved for you 24/7, or the best bar, they've got a spot at the bar reserved for you 24/7, you'll be surprised how many high net worth people who are worth knowing and women will pick up on that. You'll be surprised that when the waiters and the valet parkers and the hotel receptionists know your name and say, hello, Mr. Tate, and treat you with respect, you'll be surprised how many people pick up on that. So tip very heavily, go to the nice places, treat every member of staff with respect, and before you know it, you'll be better known and more respected in your home city. Spending a lot of money is an investment. Spending a lot of money on vacation, if I'm somewhere where I'm never going to be again, it perhaps matters a lot less. But even if you do something stupid, very stupid, even if you go to the local casino and you gamble $50,000, say goodbye to everyone and smile and walk out with a smile on your face, you are now a well-known person. If you go out to a club and spend $25,000 on champagne, a crazy spend that they are never used to seeing, you'll be surprised how often you get asked back and invited back. There's a nightclub actually in Belarus that still messages me to this day, when are you coming back to Belarus? Because they never had anyone walk in there and spend $30,000. So it's a very good way of getting known. And yeah, it is absolutely an investment. It's an investment in your reputation. It's an investment in your reputation, and it's an investment in terms of, what people think of you as a man and your status and your standing, I guess, in the hierarchy of your city.